Hello and a very good evening and welcome to another edition of the Hampton Netball Online Show. Great to have your company, brought to you by our major partners of the Hampton Football Netball League in Power Call, Lindock Living, also McDonald's and SunGold Fresh Local Milk, great supporters of our competition. Another big round of Hampton Netball went by, round number 2. We're going to dissect as well as look at round number 3 this evening and catch up with a couple of very special guests. Joining me in the hot seat, as always, Netball's First Lady of the Hampton League, Trish Butters. A very good evening.
Hi Trent, how are you?
Yes, going very well, Trish. And I'll tell you what, great to see some good netball in good conditions over the weekend in comparison to what we got in round number 1.
Yeah, certainly it was actually the perfect day. We had the heat, we had the rain, and Saturday was just perfect for netball and footy really, but perfect for netball. Not too much wind, not too much sun, just really great. And we saw some great games as well.
We certainly did. Let's look at the scores that did occur in our Open Division netball competition over the weekend, and we saw some great games. Camperdown, they were defeated by the all-conquering Cobden Bombers, a 9-point margin, so a good effort there by the Magpies. Kurri got the job done over Terang Mortlake. South Warrnambool flexed their muscles against the North Warrnambool Eagles, winning in that competition. Port Fairy got the job done over the Portland Tigers, and I guess a bit of an upset, but it didn't surprise me as well, was the Hamilton Kangaroos getting over the Warrnambool Blues, because we know the Kangaroos are going to be a very tough side to beat in 2021.
Sure are, and they've got a new look team, some new players, and it'll be interesting to have a chat to Kelsey shortly and find out about her new team.
Let's have a look a bit of the vision that occurred over round number 2 in some of the games. And the first game we'll look at is Kurri taking on Terang Mortlake, and well, Rachel Dobson, great to see her back, and Nell Mitchell, they seem like they really dominated in the goal square.
Yeah, certainly. Like now another lazy 35, but you know the Terang Mortlake pushed them to half time, and half time it was a draw. And looked like a bit of an upset, but then as we know Kurri can do, they flexed their muscles in the third quarter and drew away to quite an easy win in the end.
And I guess they've still got that good blend of experience, don't they, the Saints, but also got some good youngsters running through in the game as well. You know, Layla Monk's one of those players, and they've got a few others, Millie Jennings and the likes, that are going to be really good senior Hampton League netballers.
Yeah, and you've forgotten Belle Baker there. She's been a great player for them for the last couple of years, and we forget how young she is. Now, I know talking to Danielle the other day that they had a lot of players out with basketball commitments over the weekend, and so would have been swapping players on and off. So, yeah, good win for them.
And the Terang Mortlake Bloods, they've got a really good young group, obviously a good experienced goal shooter in Reed Davis coming over from South Rovers, but they're going to be a young side, and I think the more experience they get into these young ones, they're going to really benefit throughout the course of the year.
Oh, definitely. Emma Lucas has moved into the centre. In junior, she played as a defender and had played a really great game by all reports. And I think you've got 2 defenders in there, quite young defenders. I've just got to think of their names. Alice Tanner and Brooke Hall. And Brooke won our MVP for the league last year, and it's continued on in that vein this year. Neither of them are super tall girls, and they're coming up against very tall goalies, and they're doing a good job every week.
Yeah, they certainly are. And just great to see Rachel Dobson back up and firing as well. We know she had that Achilles injury, and she started the season really promising as well, and just good to see her back on the netball court.
Certainly, and you know, she is a very hard player to play on. She's a deceptive player. She holds her ground and holds the space really well, and that passing into Nell, you know, is spot on every time.
Absolutely. We might go to the highlights of the South Warrnambool and North Warrnambool game next, and what a great effort by the South Warrnambool Roosters. We know they recruited really well in the off-season, and they've shown that they're going to be a really hard team to beat in 2021.
Yeah, the first quarter was actually a fantastic quarter of netball. It was 13-10 at quarter time, and it was fast. It was action-packed. There was, you know, great athleticism by both teams. Second quarter, North made a few changes, had an injury, and South just flexed their muscles and were overall dominant. Annie Blackburn was just so dominant on the day. She does all the hard work, and then she has, you know, Olivia Maris, who sits back in goal shooter and just does a miss, shooting a lazy 40 for a 17-year-old girl. What a great game that was. And then, of course, you've got Carly Watson down in goal defence just hunting, and any loose pass and she picks it off. So, yeah, they... and I didn't even mention Ellie O'Connor through the centre. You know, like they've got a very strong spine. South. North, on the other hand, you know, they had some really promising signs. The first quarter was fabulous. and they will take a little bit of. They didn't have George Corbett in. Georgia Corbett went down to watch her brother play. What a great opportunity that was, so couldn't give that up. And I thought one of the things that I really loved about the game was the return of Rachel Batten. After not playing for 3 years, she was getting her touch back at the weekend and played a great game. Even though she played on Olivia Morris, who shot 40 goals, but she did a lot of work.
Yeah, and Tani Porter's the one that I think is a player of a future as well. I think she's going to, you just get games into her and she's going to improve as the season goes on as well up in the goal circle.
Like Tani, she's playing against the likes of Carly Watson this week, Ren McCann last week, and, you know, this week she just got better and better.
Camperdown took on the Cobden Bombers and the Bombers got the job done by 9 goals. And I'll tell you what, they're going really well, aren't they, to start the season? Haven't got their full complete list of players playing at the moment, but they've got some great youngsters running around. We saw Lara Taylor last week for the Cobden Bombers, and gee, the Camperdown Magpies must have really pushed them. Yeah,
well, we thought this would be a close game, and both quite experienced teams. I've got an odd junior coming in there, but both teams are probably the most experienced teams in our league at the moment. And so, yes, so it was a tough game, and, you know, listening and talking to Sophie, I think she's been a bit disappointed. Their last quarters, they've dropped off the pace, Cobden. Last week against North, and again on the weekend, they didn't pull away. So they just sort of maintained the first 3 quarters. So, you know, that's something they will be looking at, whether that's they only play the straight 7, whether they get tired and drop off, or what the reasoning might be there. So, but yeah, look, as you can see in the vision, you know, you've got experience all across the court, and Jess Cameron, having the beauty of having her to play in wing defence, she's a very tall wing defender, can play both ends of the court, and she was the best for them on the weekend.
I'll tell you what, I love the look of having the 3 Baker girls in the side as well. That'd be just really special. You know, Tracy's still playing good netball, and we know that Tracy's been around for a long time, and she just continues to be you know, a really good player and a real key contributor, I reckon.
Oh, absolutely. And she's just like the general out there, and that experience, and gives those girls, you know, another 3 inches sometimes, and she directs where play goes. It was noticeable the week before when I was there, when she went off the court, you know, that direction went out of there a little bit, and so that's invaluable. It reminds me a bit of when Jackie Bowman was playing, and those sort of girls, they direct the play, and it gives everyone that much more confidence.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, 2 very good sides, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these 2 sides, you know, fighting it off in the finals later on in the season, because I think both have got very good playing lists, and will be hard to beat as the year goes on.
Definitely.
Hey, we've got some great special guests on the Hampton League Netball Online Show tonight. We're going to go all the way up to Hamilton to catch up with the coach of the Hamilton Kangaroos in Kelsey Lewis. And Kelsey's been very kind enough to join us just before training goes ahead. Kelsey, thanks for joining us, and must have been nice to start off the season with the win against the Blues last weekend.
Hi, yeah, it was really good, and it was really positive for the girls to walk away with the win as well, so that was nice to see.
We were just talking about your team, Kelsey, and you have quite a different look team and some new players in the team. Can you tell us a little about some of those new girls? I haven't had a chance to see you play yet. Be interested to know about some of your new recruits.
Yep. So I think there's only one still standing from our 2019 team.
Wow.
We've had Amanda Douglas and Hayley Sherlock return. We've got 2 juniors come up through the 17s, and we've got 2 new faces that have moved to town since obviously COVID. So those 2 girls have joined us too. And Chloe Tufnell has also returned to us as well.
So it's great to have a few returning players and obviously some new faces. What sort of changed up game style wise from 2019 to 2021? What have you identified as some of the changes that needed to be made to be a really competitive side this year, Kels?
2019, the team was really quite young. Like our oldest player, apart from myself and Rian, was 21. So working with such a younger group was not challenging, but like you have to approach it differently to what I'm working with now, whereas the girls now are that little bit older, so some of them have had that experience. It's just refreshing and taking each week as it comes and dealing with what we need to work on each week as we go.
Yeah, we were just talking about some of the other clubs with their experienced players they have to, you know, sort of generate I guess movement and direct play around the court, and I think Rian is a gun at that, and so she'll be really helpful for some of those junior players that you've got coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's actually working alongside one of the junior girls in the ring at the moment, between her and Amanda. So it's nice for them to be able to help and guide Jeddah as she takes that transition through the open division. This is her first year in senior netball and her first year in Hampton. So
Right.
it's even better for her to be working alongside those two girls.
Is she related to the other Hoof girls?
No, I don't
Wow.
know. Not that I know of. No.
Gee. I just read that and I thought there's got to be a relation. It's not a really common name. Yeah, so she's a defender.
Yes, yeah. So she's quite a talent. She's very talented. She's very switched on, and she just understands the ball, and she knows how to read the play, and it's just it's been really good for her to take that step.
Hey, Kelsey, this weekend on Sunday you take on the arch rivals in the Portland Tigers in Anzac Day netball. It must be a contest you must look forward to each and every year because it's got real significance. You've got a really good rivalry, and no doubt that both sides will be just wanting to win that one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a privilege to play on Anzac Day, especially against Portland, who are our rivalry team, I suppose. They always kind of have been. But yeah, it's nice, and it's always such a good game. So yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Hey, Kelsey, thanks for joining us on the Hampton League Netball Show this evening. Really appreciate your time. We know you've got training tonight, so we do thank you for coming on and sharing some thoughts from the Hamilton Kangaroos.
No worries. Thank you, Tran. Thank you, Trish.
No worries. See you, Kelsey.
Kelsey Lewis, the coach of the Hamilton Kangaroos, and doing a great job. And she's been a part of the netball fabric up there for a long, long time, so does a great job.
The two girls bookends usually, but Kelsey's having another baby, and so it's given someone else an opportunity. And I think that's Holly Phillips, who has been a tall junior that they've had for quite some time, and played her debut game on the weekend and shot 25. So good on her as well.
Yeah, you've been a big spruiker of Holly Phillips in the junior comp for the last couple of seasons. So it's good to see her getting that opportunity. Hey, we're going to go to the Zoom again, and we're going to catch up with another special guest. And this young lady's in her first year as coach of the North Warrnambool Eagles. She's been a part of this side for a few seasons now, and I'll speak none other than Skye Billings. Skye, thanks for joining us on the program.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Hey, how's the reins started for you at the North Warrnambool Eagles? Obviously a big responsibility to take on the Open Division netball job. How have you enjoyed it so far?
I'm loving it so far. The girls have been so respectful and so supportive of me, all the way down to the under 13, all the way through to our oldest player. They've all had my back and supported me with everything that I've needed.
Skye, you've got pretty much a whole new team that you're rebuilding pretty much this year. How have you gone with managing that and really, like, the open coach, even though you're just coaching that team, you're pretty much the coach of the club in some ways because you have that opportunity to bring players up and down. So how are you managing that sort of responsibility, I guess?
Look, it's been a bit of a challenge. I didn't realise how much of a challenge it would be with girls out injured or other commitments. It has been quite a challenge as we haven't had our solid 7 on the court or 8 yet. But it's been great to be a part of every single open team and having an input in each team as much as I can. It's been really exciting to watch each individual player grow all the way down from under 13 to under 15s, even our 17s, having a little bit of input in there where I can, as well as all the open grades. It's actually been quite challenging, but something I've relished so far.
Hey, Skye, how have you assessed the first 2 rounds of netball for the North Warrnambool Eagles? What have you taken out of the first 2 rounds for you guys?
Oh, it's been great. It's like we've had our practice matches against district, and to come up against the Hampton side where it's that little bit quicker, it's really made us realise what we need to work on, and the consistency is a big thing for us. But like I said, hopefully when we get everybody up to match fit and no injuries, that we might be able to give some of the top sides like South and Cobden a bit of a run more.
You've had a pretty challenging draw to start with, Skye. I do believe North have had Cobden, South Warrnambool,
And then
Camperdown, and
Warrnambool.
then Kurri.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a pretty tough 5 games. It'll give you a bit of an indicator where you are. And as you say, if you get everyone back on the court, and hopefully, I don't know, is everyone back this week?
No, not everybody's back again this week. It's going to be another look this week, which I'm really enjoying. We're getting a lot of the younger ones an opportunity in the A grade, like we were given in under 17s and under 15s. Just trying to get them to bleed into the side so that they have the experience, because we're not always going to be around forever, and they're the future of our club. So the more time I can give them this year, as well as obviously having the senior players around to support them, it's going to be better for the club in the long run.
Hey, Sky, obviously the Warrnambool Blues you take on this week in our Hampton League Live match of the day. Not an easy contest. They'll be wanting to get points after going down to the Kangaroos last weekend, and you guys will be wanting to get your 4 points as well. So it should be a great game.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Obviously, with the names they have like Carsten, Cowling and Wormwood, they've got stars all over the court. So it'll be great to see how our younger ones, as well as us older heads, match up against them. And yeah, it's exciting. As a coach, you don't realise how much you actually have to put on the court as well as play as well. So it's exciting to watch players grow, and from the first training till now, everybody's grown. So I expect them to put it all out on the court, and if we win, great, but if we lose, it's another learning curve.
Sky, you just mentioned the challenges of being a playing coach, and there's not many of those probably in the Hampton League netball these days. Most people are coaching from the sidelines, and the challenges that brings. And how are you managing that? Have you got someone on the sidelines that you trust to give you some feedback?
Yeah, look, I've got probably 5 or 6 people that I do trust with obviously telling me how it is, because a lot of people just like to say, oh, no, you're doing well. But I do have a few around me that are cutthroat and say what's going wrong, where I need to change things up. And, yeah, it really gives me a bit of a reality check at times.
Hey, Sky, we really appreciate your time on the Hampton League Netball Show tonight. Great to have your insights, and we wish you all the very best of luck this weekend against the Warrnambool Blues and also throughout the course of the season of 2021. So thanks for joining us.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sky.
Sky Billings from the North Warrnambool Eagles, and doing a great job. And she's been a part of that senior side for a long, long time, hasn't she?
Well, both the girls have come through since under 13s, and as you say, they've been senior players for a long time, and they're only 25.
Yeah.
We forget that they're still...
And you feel like they're a little older because they've been around for such a long time.
Exactly.
But geez, they've got some good netball to still go, don't they, for the next
and,
long time.
We forget about Sky, like she's trying to coach, but she's playing great netball at the moment, really great netball.
Hey, a thing we started last week was our Rising Star of the Week here on the Hampton League Netball Show, and last week's inaugural winner was Tara Elliott from the Port Fairy Seagulls. Well, Trish, this week we're going to go again, and we've looked really hard at the games, and we identified a shooter again. So we will get to the mid-quarters and the defenders at some stage. But we looked at this shooter, and she had a great job with the South Warrnambool Roosters, shooting 40 goals. And a winner of the Rising Star of the Week goes to Olivia Maris, who was absolutely sensational.
Oh, absolutely. As I said in the preview at the start, Olivia's just that cool, calm and collected player. And I was talking to Rachel Batten on Saturday night after the game, and she said she doesn't miss. It's pretty hard to beat a player when they don't miss. And so good on Olivia. Congratulations. We got Olivia somewhere.
Yeah, we have. We've got Olivia on the line. Thanks, Olivia, for joining us on the Hampton League Netball Show. Great to have your company tonight, and congratulations. A terrific game last weekend.
Thanks, Trent. Thanks, Trish.
Hey, tell us, it must be nice playing in this South Warrnambool side at the moment. You've got Annie Blackburn as your partner in crime. You've got some good feeds from the mid-court, and you've got a really solid defence led by Carly Watson. It must be a nice side to be playing in at the moment.
Yeah, it's great. They're all really lovely people and just so supportive of me being a younger player. So, yeah, it's great.
I've noticed on Saturday you played all of your games in goal shooter, the whole game in goal shooter, and Annie played out of goal attack. But I think you've mixed that up. Is that right, over the first 2 games that you've already played?
Yeah, that's right.
What's your preference? Do you like goal attack or goal shooter?
I think it's been better for me to settle as a goal shooter, just at being especially my first couple of games in Open, and also having Annie in the goals with me has been amazing. So it's been it's been pretty easy to settle in having her by my side. But yeah, I'm not minding goal shooter. I don't really mind as long as I'm on the court. So been pretty happy.
Of course.
Hey, Olivia, obviously goal shooting, you need the right technique to do it well. And obviously you're doing it really, really well, shooting at a very high percentage. Who's been a couple of the role models or the people that's really worked with you to, try and work on your goal shooting to make sure you're as precise as you can be on a weekend?
Yeah, look, I've been a shooter probably my whole netball since like under 12s, under 13s. So I've had all my coaches since then helping me out, and like especially Lisa this season, she's just been so supportive of me and put so much time and effort into me as a player and with helping all of us out. So, and just having Annie there as well, like she's so good. She always helps me keep my confidence up, and yeah, so it's good.
Well done, Olivia. I did say congratulations, but not to your face. I was really very impressed with your game on the weekend, and Annie, as you keep mentioning, she's a bit of a workhorse around the outside of the ring, and she feeds. And one thing I know about Annie, she flicks that flick-off pass, and you've really managed to be able to be ready for that pass, because you need to be with Annie. But the other ones around the outside, I thought Isabella Ray played a great game on the weekend and fed in really well to you.
Yeah, she did. Isabella's a great player, and it's so much easier being a goalie and shooting. It's so much more comfortable knowing that you trust your center, you trust your wing attack, and you trust your goalie, that like they've all got your back. And if you were to miss a goal, Annie will get up for those rebounds, and even like Ali being center, they'll be yelling out to me saying like, "Good job, Liv, like doesn't matter." Yeah. So it's just like a big family and great support team.
Hey Olivia, congratulations. You are our Power Core Rising Star of the Week. A great game last weekend with shooting 40 goals. Congratulations, and thanks for joining us on the Hampton League Netball Show this evening.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Olivia.
I'll tell you what, for a youngster, she speaks very, very well. And Tara was the same. So these young ones, they've got some great public speaking skills, which is fantastic and great to interview.
Great, yeah. And 17 years old, playing Open, on a regular basis and winning awards. And Olivia's won awards all the way through her juniors, by the way. She's always been a great player. I'll
tell you what, she's got some good family pedigree, that's for sure. Dad Lee, who was a superstar for the Roosters, and just follows on Uncle Steve and the like. Hey, let's have a quick look at this weekend's games. Some great games in round 3 of the Hampton Football Netball League. And the first game we'll look at is South Warrnambool taking on the Camperdown Magpies. And what a great challenge for the Camperdown Magpies coming up against the all-conquering South Warrnambool Roosters.
Yeah, this is a cracking round. Every game could go either way. I was having a look at it yesterday and I thought, gee, this is going to be a tough tipping week. But yeah, having seen both these teams play, it's going to be a really good game. I would really love to see Annie playing on Ruby, Peake and Schmidt, and that would be a really great game. Both clean players, both tall. There'll be a great battle there. I'm going to go South just because, I've seen them and I just thought their structure and their backbone there was very solid. Yep. So I'm going to pick South.
I'll tell you what, the next game I'm looking forward to as well, the Cobden Bombers taking on Kurri. This should be a great one as well. The Bombers going super. They've still got a few players to come back in. Kurri have done nothing wrong since the start of the season. They're with a 2-1 record. Should be a great game to follow this one as well.
Once again, you could be in every place this weekend. Look, I really thought about this. I'm going to stick with Cobden. Kurri, I haven't seen Kurri, so I've seen Cobden, so that's the only reason I'm thinking, Kurri had a few out last week with basketball. They've got a few juniors in there. Cobden with experience, so I'm going to pick them this week.
Two young sides in our next encounter. Terang Mortlake taking on the Port Fairy Seagulls. Liz Fowler's side taking on Renee Taylor's. This should be a great one as well.
Yeah. Once again, pretty evenly matched team, and I think it'll go down to the wire. Terang Mortlake, I love Jackie Arundel in goals and Ree Davis playing really well together. And Emma Lucas linking up through that mid-court. And then the two girls I mentioned before, Alice Tanner and Brooke Hoare. So I'm going to pick Terang Mortlake. I haven't seen Port Fairy yet, and I haven't, and yet they've won 2 games. So there's no sense in that, but, it's the way the draw is sometimes. And as I've got to go back the same way, the only team I've seen, and that's what I can judge on. So I'm going to Terang Mortlake.
Yeah, a lot of spruiking about the likes of Tessa Allen and the likes as well for the Seagulls. So they've got an exciting list, there's no doubt about it. Next game we're going to look at is a Sunday game against the arch rivals, Portland taking on the Hamilton Kangaroos at Hanlon Park. And this game's going to take place at 2:30. So a 2:30 game over at Hanlon Park. Looking forward to this one as well.
It's not at Hanlon Park. It's the
netball. Flinders Park, sorry.
Because
they've obviously got the netball courts getting...
so the netball courts have been redone, so it's Flinders Park, which is just not far from there apparently,
corner,
but
really.
Pretty open area, I'm led to believe, with lots of courts. It'll be an interesting game. I'm not thinking the weather's going to be that good this weekend again. Hasn't been that good this week, so I'm not sure about this weekend. But look, I can't go past Hamilton. They've done everything right, and Portland, as we've kept saying each week, they're finding combinations and looking at different structures. Got some good juniors coming through too, so I might pop over and have a look at this game so I can have a bit more of a proper talk about them probably.
And I reckon they'll get a big crowd too, being Anzac Day at a Soul game as well. They usually get a big crowd at both the football and the netball. And our final game is a Hampton League Live match of the day. The North Warrnambool Eagles taking on the Warrnambool Blues. Both sides will be itching to get the 4 points back this week. And I think it's going to be a really hard-fought contest.
I agree. Amy Wilmot last week for Warrnambool. I'm not sure if she's back this week. Just shows you, that experience, take that person out of the team. Still had some really great players, but, just that experience that Amy gives is a bit like Annie in the South. And, those girls, they make their juniors around them step that much higher. So I'm going back. I'm getting on the North bandwagon this weekend. I've got a feeling that they might win this weekend. I'm not sure, but after talking to Sky tonight, I was starting to get a bit worried. I thought they might have had a full team back in, but I'm going to try North over Warrnambool this weekend.
You just want to be welcome back at the gate, don't you? You don't want your life membership revoked. Hey, Trish, before we go this evening, you've got an announcement with some coaches for our championship sides, which is fantastic. So training's coming up very soon. So can you inform the viewers on who's going to be our association championship coaches?
So in the 13 and under, we've gone with experience with Murray Wall and Dot Jenkins. So they'll be particular about skills and picking some really good teams. There's some great 13 unders out there. In our 15 and under, it'll be Stacey O'Sullivan, and her assistant coach this year will be Molly Hutt from Cobden.
Fantastic.
So it's great to see Molly putting her hand up to have a go at something like that. She's been through the whole Association Champ program, so she'll be a great asset, and good to have some young people in there. And in the 17 and under, it'll be Jess O'Connor and Kerry Jennings. They're both correct now, but Kerry's got the knowledge of the people in the Portland area. So we try to get some different people from different areas, and so watch out for your coordinators. The training starts. The first training night is Friday, April the 30th, yes, and the follow tryout will be on that Sunday, May the 2nd. So that's when the sides will be selected.
I'll tell you what, some great appointments there. 6 very good coaches, experienced, and have all been through the program themselves. So I think that makes a lot of difference. Hey, we've run out of time here on the Hampton League Netball Show. For this edition, we hope you've enjoyed the coverage. A big thank you to all of our important sponsors. Without our sponsors, we wouldn't have a great league and a show for you each and every Wednesday night. So enjoy your netball.